Hello guys, welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is a Rex Arthur show, the LGBTQ channel that discusses LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ approach and perspective. Oh, it was supposed to be humanistic approach. Anyway, today we are under the wings of Rivers of Thought, Lava Fikir, and I was thinking about what Canada has just done. And Canada has legalized marijuana, and so we're going to put this also on the Google searches, Rex Arthur's Google searches, but it's also going to be on Rivers of Thought and Lava Fikir, because we're going to discuss the drug use over the ages. Have we been using drugs in these thousands of years? Yes, we have, and we're going to prove this using language, and you're going to see that there are some words of the drugs people use today, recreational drugs, not the medical drugs, neither the natural drugs, like the food you eat is a natural drug, and because they have chemicals. We're not going to talk about those. We're going to talk about recreational drugs, and you'll see that they've been used for thousands of years all over the world, and so it's not a new thing. The only new thing is the effects of these drugs on you. People have studied, and when scientists study, they tell us the effects. So first of all, let's just go through and see what guys have been saying. Look at that. Canada nearly runs out of weed after legalization. No more marijuana. Canada pot craze creates shortages days after sales begin. Wow, they are making a kill. And there you are. The maple leaf has been replaced. Is it a maple leaf? There's a tree. The Canadian tree leaf has been replaced by the cannabis sativa leaf. Canada just legalized recreational pot. So let's read that from CNN later on. And basically, everyone is talking about it. And the sales have started October 17th, just this weekend. Now, let's come up here. Let's go to CNN. And we read quickly and just summarize. Here's what you need to know about this. Oops. Oh my goodness. Is it gonna hang? You know, sometimes there are some websites which are crazy. It's hanging. I don't think we're gonna do CNN. Let's change, and we go to another one. Canada legalizes marijuana. So I want to show you how we have been using these drugs for years. Okay. Oh, these guys are focusing on what has happened. I like the CNN one. It was more clear. Okay, let's try New York Times. Okay. New York Times. I think we just have to wait and see if it's gonna scroll down. Nope, it is not doing what I want it to do. So basically, Canada legalizes marijuana. Basically, what I came to learn is marijuana is a very old drug, and contrary to what people, humanity, we believe that I like these guys, though I think they're a bit okay, this is a Canadian newspaper. And let's try and see if it's going to come on. Okay, I don't know. Today my the websites I'm picking are not loading. Okay, it's not working. All right, so basically Canada has done something that many countries haven't done, and that's to legalize weed. And many people have very negative views of weed, and I wanted to see so this led me to do research and a research on the these drugs and how old they are. And so I want to, yeah, at least this is moving. So you see, this is what I was looking for from the others, and we didn't get that. So we're gonna do a search on from Merriam-Webster. A very good dictionary. I like it because it tells you it gives you what you call, it gives you the age of a word. So now let's come here and write marijuana. So marijuana is a psychoactive dried resinous flower buds and leaves of the female hemp or cannabis plant, Cannabis sativa, Cannabis indica, that contains high levels of THC and are smoked and vaped or ingested as baked goods, especially for their intoxicating effect. Now, these are the names of other names: bang, hashish, and there's also medical marijuana, and there's hemp. So it's basically female hemp. It comes from a hemp plant or a cannabis plant. So hey, all you feminists out there, marijuana is your friend, even though that it is called marijuana. You know, when you're a feminist, you look for everything feminine, and there you are. Marijuana is feminine, so it is from a female plant. I thought you should know. Okay, so look at this. This is what I want us to focus on. The first known use of marijuana is 1874. Are you seeing? The first time it was used. And it's the meaning at sense 2. This is hemp. Now, when you come and look at hemp, the definition of hemp, it's a tall, widely cultivated Asian herb, Cannabis sativa, of the family Cannabaceae, the hemp family, that is cultivated for its tough, bast fiber and edible seeds and oil, and that is often separated into a tall, loosely branched species, Cannabis sativa, and low-growing, densely branched species, Cannabis indica. And cultivated hemp is often distinguished from cannabis by possessing very low levels of the psychoactive substance. So hemp is still, it's still marijuana, but it is the byproduct. It's basically called hemp because of the products it produces, not the leaves that in the marijuana is basically the leaves that have dried up. But hemp is a herb, and that is grown for the fiber and the seeds and all of those things, but it's still in the family of marijuana. Now, let's look at how old hemp is as a word. Hemp, first known use of hemp before the 12th century in the meaning defined at sense 1a. And look at the old meanings. It comes from Middle English, hanepe, according to Old High German, hanaf, and Greek, cannabis. Are you seeing? Beautiful stuff, unbelievable. So the word hemp is over 800 years old. So what does this mean? This plant has existed or was known to exist 800 years ago. Are you seeing? But it means, and this is the point of the video, that just because something was discovered yesterday does not mean it started existing yesterday. You know, there was a joke that Africans used to make about the white explorers who came to Africa. And they used to say that, you know, Ludwig Krapf discovered Mount Kilimanjaro. And so the Africans used to say, aren't we people? We saw this mountain before Ludwig. So why is it that he's the first person to discover the Mount Kilimanjaro? And it was a very funny truth. Yes, I mean, the mountain has existed for thousands of years. Many Africans have lived around it. So what has happened? Ludwig happens to be the first person? No, he's not the first person. He just is the first person to name it that way. He's the first person to give it a name called Mount Kilimanjaro. And actually, it was not even called Mount Kilimanjaro. Ludwig, I think he called it after a king or a prince, either Albert or something like that. I can't recall my history, forgotten that. So anyway, what I'm just trying to tell you is that just because, and this is what you need to get from the video, just because something has been discovered yesterday or has been named yesterday doesn't mean it didn't exist. It existed. It's just that people didn't know what it was and they didn't know its value. You see? Now, we're going to do this with very many drugs to show you what I'm trying to say. So we've already done with marijuana. Marijuana, you've seen, is 150 years old as a, and hemp is 800 years old as a word. So now the next word we are going to look at is, in the same line, is hashish, the concentrated resin from the flowering tops of female hemp plants. That is, again, they're talking about cannabis sativa or cannabis indica, that is smoked, chewed, or drunk for its intoxicating effect, also called charash and hash. Now, how old is it? That's what we're looking for. Look at the age, 1598, and therefore it is 420 years old. Can you imagine? 420. The word hashish. So hashish has existed as a noun, you know. Please don't forget that as a noun, it was born in the English language or in language sphere. It came into the world as it came into the world a long time ago, but it was given a name in 1598, and this is hashish, and it's from Arabic. You see, even if you're the shisha guys, you know, this is just the reverse. You know, Arabs have that game of reversing and forwarding in the Arabic. If you know, for those of you who know Arabic, so shisha also comes from this kind of this hashish, and it is the that is smoked, chewed, or drunk for its intoxicating effect. Now let's go to bang. So you can see bang is also a mildly intoxicating preparation of the leaves and flowering tops of uncultivated hemp. First used again in 1598. You see, it is also 420 years old, and it comes from Hindi, bang, and Urdu, bang, which is also hemp. So you see, all of these are related to each other because hemp is in the family of weed, cannabis sativa. Now this is so beautiful. Now let's go to tobacco, because tobacco is also a recreational drug. How old is tobacco? Can you guess? Let's all do the guessing. Tobacco, tobacco, come. Tobacco, are you there? Tobacco. Oops. It's not loading. Tobacco. Tobacco to center. Tobacco to center. Come on. Good. Now, tobacco is any genus of Nicotiana of chiefly American plants of the nightshade family with a viscid foliage and tubular flowers. It's a tall, erect, annual tropical American herb and tabacum, cultivated for its leaves. Again, the leaves. How old is it? Look at them. Miriam has time to draw. Thank you. And it's just interesting. That was just a joke on the side. First known use of tobacco, 1565. Are you seeing how old it is? It is 450 years old. Roughly 450 years old. And the history and etymology for tobacco is from Spanish, tabaco, probably from Taino, roll of tobacco leaves. And this is beautiful because before the cigarette companies began, do you know guys were sniffing tobacco? Even in Africa, it was a pastime. You know, it was a pastime. People used to put tobacco leaves in the nose. And that's how they do it. So now the tobacco companies, the cigarette companies have modified and even made it more classy and made it look so nice. And they put in a roll. Instead of you putting something in your nose, making you look so funny, now you just have to sniff it to smoke it out. So basically, we live in a world that is developing and modifying the things that have already existed, because Nicotiana is a plant that has lived for thousands of years in the world, if not even a million. But it is only when humans made the discovery. And another principle is here, another revelation, another hallelujah moment, another eureka time is humans are curious animals. They are the most curious animals in the world. Let me tell you, elephants have been chewing on marijuana. You know, the herbivores of this world, they chew. They don't even care whether they're eating cannabis or tobacco leaves. They chew whatever leaves they find. And who knows, scientists should even do studies on animals that ingest marijuana and animals that ingest tobacco. Who knows? Maybe something happens to them. Something weird. I want to see, you know, give your dog some beer and tell us what happens. So and it's human beings. We like experimenting. And you see, when you have a dog, you can give your dog alcohol, you can give an LSD, and we're going to look at LSD also. But look at all of these. The tobacco is that old. And when humans discover something that makes them enjoy life, they first of all give it a name, then they start using it. Then as they use it, they can stay for a long time, and then they can modify. So what we are having these days, like now tobacco, we have cigarettes. Cigarettes were not born the moment tobacco leaves came, but they are a modification of the tobacco leaves that have existed for thousands of years. That's why we even tell people, even sex. Do you know the first humans never called it sex? Yeah. Let's look at how old the word sex is. I know this is a deviation. Sex. And especially this one. This is the one we want. We can look at that and see how old it is. Okay, let's try this one. Oh, that's a very bad definition from Miriam. I think she's homophobic. Listen to what they call coitus, which is thoroughly homophobic. Physical union of male and female genitalia accompanied by rhythmic movements. No, this is... This must be reviewed. We're very happy we've done this. Miriam has to change what she has written here. It is thoroughly not the case. Things have changed, and not things have changed. They are physical unions between a man and a man. That is still sex. And there's physical union between a female and a female. That is also sex. Because look at this physical union. Remove male and female. Physical union accompanied by rhythmic movements. I think that's what it should be called. That is sex. But I think here they are trying to say the male and female genitalia, meaning they are so fixated on sexual, they're fixated on the heterosexuality. Okay, let's go back to sex. I think I will have to look for the age of the word sex. Look at the first known use, the 14th century. And the verb, 1878. That's why Bibles don't have the word sex. Neither does the Quran. Because the word sex is too young. It's so new, and it comes from Latin. So anyway, that was just a by the way. Now let's go to new drugs that, of course, they have issues. People don't, in America they stopped using this one, and we're going to look at LSD. Of course, look at it, even the definition. It is a very complicated drug, meaning it's a lab drug. It is made, you see, humans have become so good at understanding the herbal drugs that they are able to, because once humans understood and drew the periodic table, that was the end. You can mix as many different chemical elements as you want, and in the process you'll create drugs. And all of these drugs have an effect on the body. Now look at LSD. First known use 1950. Yeah. The lesson we've got from here is that there are some, when a new product is made, it comes with its name. Now, there's a difference between new products and old products. Old products existed before they got a name. And the reason being, humans did not know that old product. Until they studied it and started using it, then they gave it a name. Do you know, there are things in the world that have existed for thousands of years, but they don't have a name because we don't use them as humans. And we've never discovered them, and we've not known them. So we don't name them. But when we get a use for them, we'll give them a name. Then there's some things, when they're created, they get a name. And that's what has happened to LSD. LSD was created in the lab. They mixed the chemicals, and then they gave it a name. And the name comes from the mixture. It's a lysergic acid diethylmide. Good. Now, let's try one more drug, and then we are done. LSD. Oh, crystal meth. Wow. Crystal meth. Crystal meth. Crystal methamphetamine is also a form of crystals of its hydrochloride salt used for smoking, snorting, or injecting. And how old is it? Let's see. 1969. Are you seeing? So what does this tell you? Crystal meth was not with the hominids or Homo sapiens or Homo erectus or Homo habilis. It is with the Homo sapiens of today, the 20th century and 21st century. You see, 1969. It's not even 100 years old as a word. And look at how the word was created. You see, does it come from Arab, like hashish, bang, from India, ancient countries? No. this is coming from the lab. And because that's why it is methamphetamine. If you've noticed, most of the new medical drugs and recreational drugs have chemical names because they are new. And these days, naming of drugs, they use the chemical naming system. But any drug or anything that has existed through leaves and plants and soil and all of these things, they have old names because they were already given names in the past. People knew them and were using them. Actually, there's a research I'm going to conduct, and is ancient hallucinogenic use and ancient use of drugs. I believe, or I have an assumption or a hypothesis, that people of the ancient days were taking drugs. Of course, we've already seen cannabis has been in the world for thousands of years. And when you read the Hebrew Bible, they used to have incense, and it was mixture of chemicals. Of course, they call them ingredients, but an ingredient is just a chemical. That is just another word for chemical. So what could have been the effect? And secondly, if humans of today are taking drugs, what about the humans of the past? They did. I mean, Noah drank wine, and he became so drunk, he became naked. And Noah is said to have existed in the year 3000 BC, 2000 BC. Can you imagine? So people have been taking alcohol. Brett Kavanaugh has a friend in Noah for all those years, because Noah was also ingesting a drug called alcohol. Lot ingested alcohol, and Lot took drunk and became a drunkard. So now alcohol was one type of drug that existed. So we want to find out another drug. Some people even used to joke, Rastafarians used to joke and say that the bush that was burning before Moses was bangi. It was marijuana. Because it was on fire, but it didn't die. This is so hilarious. And these people make us laugh with their jokes. Anyway, this is just the discussion we've had, and what I'm just trying to tell you through all we have said. There are some majority of the products in the world that are old. They have old names because they existed and people knew they existed. And then some products have existed for many years, but still till today have no words. They have no names because they either don't have any use to us, or we do not know that they exist. Like even in the atmosphere, like now we're doing new gases are being found, new stones are being found, new minerals are being found. And this is the thing that we are going to be checking out. And then you have the new products like crystal meth, LSD, Facebook, Twitter. These are new things that have come with their names. And that's what has happened. So enjoy the world. We're going to do another video, and this will be about sodomy. And you don't want to miss it. It's going to come up in a few minutes. This was our discussion. And what we wanted to show you is that drugs have been used for thousands of years. And it's science that is now trying to understand the effects of those drugs on us and whether we can use them. So far, Canada has legalized marijuana, telling us they have found it to be a good drug worth taking.